Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. Today's reading is titled, What Makes You Unforgettable? I have 3 piles for you to choose from. You are welcome to pick more than one, but please remember to pick using your intuition. I'm going to give you all a second to pick, and then we're going to go ahead and get started with pile number 1. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started with pile number 1. So, pile number 1, what makes you unforgettable? You have a very healing energy. People miss your good advice, your laughter, and honestly, your company. You always turned a bad day into a good day for them. So, pile number 1, let's get into these cards and see what makes you unforgettable. The first card that we have is the Ace of Swords. People remember you as someone who spoke the truth, someone who is a truth seeker as well as a truth teller. When you gave people advice, you told them the truth. You didn't tell them what they wanted to hear and you didn't sugarcoat it. That's something that's unforgettable about you because you don't lie to make people feel better because you don't see the point in that. You tell people the truth even if it does sting because you know that the truth sets us free. So, pile number 1, what makes you unforgettable is your truth, the things that you've spoken to other people, the advice that you've given people. I feel like a lot of people now are coming to terms with things you've told them years ago. I feel like it's finally being highlighted in their life. And I feel like Spirit is making them specifically think about you because you gave them that advice years ago. So take what resonates because that's for some of you. The next card that we have is the Magician. So what makes you unforgettable is the way that you can conjure things, the way that you can bring things towards you like a magnet almost. People remember you saying, for example, let's say you were like, I want some sunglasses, and then the next day you go to a store and you see some sunglasses on sale for $199. And you had already thought about that before, so that is a form of manifestation. So people see that. Maybe somebody was with you when something like this happened, or you thought about something and it happened moments later. So people see that you're able to bring things forth, and it's like magic almost. So people see you as someone who's magical, and that's something that's unforgettable about you. The next card that we have is the Two of Wands. So with the Two of Wands being here, you're somebody who is very bold, you're very courageous, and when you set your goals, when you set your goals, when you set, how do I want to put this? Okay, pile number 1. When you set goals for yourself, you actually map out this plan in order for you to accomplish those goals. And it's as if you open new doors for yourself because on this card, there's a door. You open new doors for yourself. And as soon as I said that, I just received a text message. So I know that that's confirmation for somebody. But with the Two of Wands and then in this door specifically, it's like you open up new doors and you open up new levels of consciousness. You open up new paradigms and new dimensions, all with your thoughts, all with the things you manifest. So this is something that people find unforgettable about you. I feel like you've opened up new doors for other people as well. Maybe the things that was hidden within them, you've opened that door so that they can see what they have inside. The next card that we have is the 5 of Cups. So what's unforgettable about you is the way that you pull people out of the current. And what I mean by that is when people are drowning in their emotions, you pull people out of those currents, you pull people out of those waves, you pull people out of those storms. And this is something that people will never forget because you were there for them when nobody else was. It's like you're a spiritual lifeguard and you save people from drowning. You save people from drowning in their own emotions. That's unforgettable. The next card that we have is Virgo. So, with Virgo being here, you have a healing energy. You heal people, you nurse people back to health. And that's something that's unforgettable, as well as your advice, because Virgo represents communication like Mercury. So, the advice that you gave people was healing. I feel like your advice helped to cleanse away toxic energies that people had within their own minds. The things that you told them, it's like your words healed their mind. Your words healed the limitations that they once had over themselves. The next card that we have is Scorpio. So, what makes you unforgettable is the way that you stayed by people's sides during hard transitions in their lives. I feel like as they evolved, you stayed by them. Sometimes when people evolve, a lot of people aren't up for that journey. They'd rather be at the finish line than walk you through it. And I feel like you're the person, pile number one, that is with the person from the beginning until they make it to the finish line. And that's something that's unforgettable because I'm seeing this image of a person cheering somebody on the sidelines. So let's say somebody's running track, you're on the side where, the part where you don't run on, and you're clapping and cheering somebody on. That's what I'm seeing. So people will never forget how you cheered them on, how you supported them, how you showed up for them. That's something that's unforgettable. For others of you, this is actually intimate. So people can't forget the way you made love to them, the way you touched their body, the way that you pleased them. That's something that's unforgettable. So take what resonates. The next card that we have is Neptune, followed by the fourth house. So with Neptune, you're very compassionate. And you could have also been somebody that changed your schedule for another person. So maybe you had something important to do, but you put it off to help somebody that was going through something, or you put it off to help a friend move, or for them to accomplish something in their lives. The next card that we have is the fourth house, which is ruled by Cancer. It represents our home base, our family. So if you've moved away from your family, they remember you because you were there for them in times of need. And for others of you, you have this energy where you just make people feel at home. You make people feel at home when they're around you. You make people feel like it's okay for them to open up to you and share things with you that they wouldn't share with other people. And that's something that's unforgettable because they could have people that they hang around 24/7, but they don't tell those people things because they energetically they know that they can't either trust them with that information, or they can't conceptualize or actually provide value to the situation. Okay. So pile number one, people don't forget how loving and caring you were. People don't forget how you built them up. I'm actually looking at the number four because the number four is about building. You could have a life path number four as well, or a life path number seven. Take what resonates. But it's like you build people up. And there's a song by Cleo Soul called Build Me Up coming. So I'm going to have it in the description. Build Me Up. Let me write that in my notes. Okay. But that's something that's unforgettable about you. Pile number one. The next card that we have is the Three of Cups. So you're very fun to be around. Not only are you caring, compassionate, and motherly and fatherly, okay? You're also somebody who's it's good to have a drink with, or it's good to go out and dance with, or it's good to go to like a kickback or a party with. You have that vibey energy to you, and that's something that's unforgettable. People love being around you. It's like you were the life of the party. Pile number 1, it's like you were the person that made it a party. Let's say, for example, it was a holiday and people were like, "Oh, well, we can't do anything. We can't go out. We don't have any money." And you're like, "Well, let's bring the party here. Let's go get some food. Let me go get some balloons. Let me get some cake, some ice cream. Let me get some music. Let's get a stereo. Let's call people. Let's make food." Like you were that person that you always had alternatives if you couldn't go out or if people didn't have enough funds. Like you still made it a great time regardless if there was enough money or not. And that's something that's unforgettable because it was a good time. You always gave people a good time. Pile number 1. The next card that we have is the Knight of Pentacles. So when it comes to you reaching goals in your life, you plant seeds and you move in silence with this, pile number 1. So it's not something that people can always see at first glance. You may just come off as somebody who's just helping, but you're also helping yourself behind the scenes. And it takes you some time, but you carve out, time in your life to accomplish a goal or to learn some type of skill. There's something here about you loving to learn and I feel like you're a fast learner. Pile number 1, that's something that's unforgettable too. But whenever you're trying to learn a skill, you take your time to hone in on whatever that craft is until you get better and better at it. That's something here that people find unforgettable about you is that you've grown. So in whatever you do, maybe you used to make content and now you're getting better at editing. Or maybe you used to bake cakes, but the cakes you bake now are very beautiful. So it's like people are acknowledging that you've grown here, and that's something that's unforgettable because you started in one place and now you're in another place and you carved out time in your life to get there. So while you may have had people just like, "Oh, well, you're not going to be able to do that because you don't know how to do it." You're like, "Well, I'm going to teach myself how to do it." Okay, so you teach yourself things, and that's something that's unforgettable about you. The next card that we have is the Queen of Swords. So what's unforgettable about you is your honesty. You speak the truth. Okay, you could be a Sagittarius. You're blunt with it, but you're telling people the truth because you care about them. You're doing it out of love. And also, I feel like with the Queen of Swords energy being here, what makes you unforgettable is that you have these boundaries for yourself. Like, I feel like it's taking you some time, but you have boundaries and you have standards. And that's something that's unforgettable because you don't just accept anybody into your life. They have to go through, your checkup process, which is you getting to know who this person is before you even put a title on it. And that's something that's unforgettable about you because you take it slow. You don't just rush into things. And I feel like you may have had some people who are used to things being fast paced and they're like, "No, I really don't want to take my time with this person, so I'm just gonna leave." And you don't mind pile number 1, but I feel like those people that left, they find you unforgettable because they're like, "Wow, that person was really taking their time with me and I wanted to rush things." So this could even be a relationship. Maybe you didn't want to rush a relationship and you have a person thinking of you. Take what resonates, pile number 1. That's something that makes you unforgettable. I feel like also you tell people what it is, like you're very direct, and that's something that's unforgettable. The next card that we have is Pisces. So you're very compassionate, very loving. We already had the Neptune card. Neptune rules Pisces. I feel like you have this sixth sense too, pile number 1. Like if somebody is going through something, like you will know. And I feel like you will be probably the only person that knows because you can pick up on this kind of energy. You have a lot of empathy, pile number 1, and that's something that's unforgettable. Like if somebody is going through something, you can pick up on it. You can tell, like even if that person is laughing or smiling, it's like you can sense that something is off. And that's something that people really appreciated about you. Because I'm getting like people from the past feel like this. That's why I'm speaking in a past tense. But it's like you knew when something was wrong and you went to remedy it. Oh, I'm getting tongue twisted. You went to remedy the situation and you help people to feel better. And that's what's unforgettable about you. So now, pile number one, I'm going to read off some channeled messages I have before I get into the final stack of cards. So, number one, your laughter is unforgettable. Your beauty is unforgettable. Your intimacy is unforgettable. People feel like life is boring without you. You are very much the life of the party, pile number one. Your cooking is unforgettable, especially if you make like rice or some form of a dish with rice. That's unforgettable. You can have Sagittarius or Aquarius energy. You're very eccentric, very unique, and that's something that's unforgettable. The song by Ariana Grande, Seven Rings, is coming up, and the line specifically that keeps coming up is, I want it, I got it, I want it, I got it. So what's unforgettable about you is that you're a go-getter. When there's something that you want, you create a plan to go get that. You set out and go get it. You set intentions. That's what I'm trying to say. You set intentions and you go and get it. You allow the universe to work alongside you. And it's as if miracles follow you. Somebody's name also could be miracle here, take what resonates, but it's like you bring solutions. You're a very solution-oriented person, pile number one. And that's something that's unforgettable. It's like you are good at problem solving. You also help people grow and think bigger and see the bigger picture. You also nurse people back to health, spiritually, physically, and emotionally. You could be a nurse as well. Take what resonates. But yeah, that is the channel messages for you, pile number one. Let's get into the final stack of cards. So the next card that we have is Mars. So this is where that go-getter energy comes from. You plant seeds and you allow them to sprout. And that's something that people find unforgettable about you because I don't really think, pile number one, you come from an environment where people really dream big. I think people just stay stuck in this poverty mindset. They stay stuck in this survival mentality of, well, we have to do this, and dreaming is unrealistic, or, wanting that type of lifestyle or career is unrealistic, but you've made it so, pile number one. You've made it realistic, and that's something that people find unforgettable about you. The next card that we have is tattoos. So you may have really nice, intricate, or very unique tattoos, and that's something that people find unforgettable about you. Or you may be a tattoo artist here. Take what resonates, and that's something people find unforgettable. The next card is a song by Lyrica Anderson, and she is a Sagittarius. So there's heavy Sagittarius here. It's heavy Sagittarius energy here. The song is titled Don't Take It Personal. So what's unforgettable about you is you didn't take things personal. Like, you didn't allow other people's lack mindsets and their lack mentality to make you have that kind of mindset. Like, you were able to bulldoze through people's inaccurate perceptions of you in your life. And that's something that's unforgettable. The next card that we have is a music card by Solange, and the song is called Almeida. And this song is about loving who you are, loving the skin you're in, loving your culture, and that's something that's unforgettable. Maybe you went to an environment where there's not a lot of people that are like you or that look like you, and you still honored your culture. Maybe your culture is marginalized, but you still honored that, and that's something that's unforgettable. The next card that we have is Tinashe, who is an Aquarius energy. And I did say that we had Aquarius energy in this pile. So take what resonates. This song is called The Last Night on Earth. And this is making me feel like people feel like if it was their last night on Earth, they would want to spend it with you, pile number one. That's what I'm picking up on. And it's like you have this once in a lifetime kind of energy. And that's what's unforgettable, pile number one. The next card that we have is Jupiter. So again, Sagittarius energy. You help people to grow and expand, but also Jupiter is known for healing. So you're very, very healing. Your words are healing. Your laughter. I feel like Laughter is medicine, and I feel like the way you make people laugh or the little jokes you come up with or the inside jokes you make with other people, it's unforgettable. It's things that they always remember, things that they will always laugh about, things that will always bring a smile to their face. Pile number one. That was your reading. Thank you so much. Mwah. We're going to move on to pile number two. So, pile number two, what makes you unforgettable? So, pile number two, you are remembered for being unfairly targeted, but you rose up against the opposition. You have accomplished so much over the last few years. Exes can't forget you. So, pile number two, let's get into these cards and see why you're unforgettable. The first card that we have is Yemaya, who is a goddess in the Orisha. She's an Orisha deity, but she is a goddess of the Yoruba religion. And in this card specifically, there's a lot of beautiful jewelry. So one thing that's unforgettable about you, pile number two, is your jewelry, the style that you wear. Maybe you wear jewelry that's very unique. You know how some people feel like, oh, ice me out. Like they want to have expensive jewelry on. You may be somebody who hand makes your jewelry, or you like to wear like cultural jewelry or ancient type of jewelry. So you know how Egyptians wore certain like gold or certain earrings, like you may like to wear certain things like that. Maybe your jewelry it's like a bit heavy, but it's something that you like. Okay? Take what resonates. That's something that's unforgettable about your style of jewelry. It's very, very eccentric and it's very like you may like to wear antique type of jewelry here and it's very beautiful. That's something that's unforgettable about you. Like you have such a unique style that people can't go buy in a store. It's not something people can find on Pinterest, okay? The next card that we have is Oshun. So Oshun is a goddess of beauty. She is also an Orisha deity of the Yoruba religion. And there's hearts on this card. So what's unforgettable about you is your kindness, how loving you are, but also how beautiful you are inside and out. And pile number two, you may not be the kind of person who thinks that they're physically beautiful. You may feel like, I'm okay, but no. Pile number two, you are so beautiful. You're one of those people who can't even see it. You know how they say butterflies are so beautiful and they can't even see their own wings? I feel like to a certain extent, you're that way, pile number two. And it's not because you're insecure, but it's because you don't put beauty over everything. Like you live your life, but it's not just about being beautiful. Some people just want to be pretty. That's their goal in life. But I feel like you're much more than that. You know that you're much more than your physical appearance, okay? Because you know that being pretty doesn't solve, anything. Like you're still going to go through problems just like everybody else. So that's something that's unforgettable. Your beauty is unforgettable. There's something with water here, so you could be a water sign, but I'm also feeling like your energy is so cleansing and healing. And I feel like your energy can be triggering to people who don't want to heal. Okay. The next card that we have is messages from water. So water is very apparent. Maybe you drink a lot of water. Pile number two, and your skin is clear, and that's something that's unforgettable about you because you have a connection to water. Maybe you take long showers or you like to swim, and that's something that's unforgettable about you. You may like to take pictures by water, or you look very beautiful by water, and that's something that is unforgettable about you. The next card that we have is the Ace of Earth, which is the Ace of Pentacles. So what's unforgettable about you is your confidence, but also you defining yourself. Because with you being unfairly targeted and being treated differently, you still honored yourself. You still were like, I'm going to be me regardless of who likes it or not. Because of the energy that you hold, pile number 2 is very pure. And when I say pure, I'm not saying that you're perfect. I'm not saying that you never make mistakes or that you've never offended or hurt anybody. By pure, I'm meaning that you move with good intentions. I'm meaning that your energy has not been tainted by darkness or pain or suffering. It's like it's a high vibrational kind of energy. And a lot of people aren't used to that. They're used to low vibrational energy. So when you come around, that energy can make them feel small because they have to rise up to meet you. Okay. But you know your value, you know your worth here. And that's something that people find unforgettable. The next card that we have is the Seven of Wands. So you have definitely encountered some opposition because of this energy that you hold. However, I feel like you are reaching an understanding in your life that it's the light. Like, one thing I love so much about my tarot readings is that everything is intuitively guided. Like, from the PowerPoints that I choose, from the way the cards come out, even the pictures that I choose for you all to pick a pile. So, this picture right here, yellow tulips, you literally are the light. You literally are the light. And it's like, everything is always symbolic. So, pile number 2, you are the light, and the light is going to always illuminate the darkness, meaning that you're going to illuminate shadows in other people. You're going to show them things that they've tried to run from or things that they've never seen within themselves. But again, their reaction is not your problem, and it's never something you should internalize because it's medicine. They need that. They need to see the things that they're hiding from so that their soul can grow because that's the whole purpose of you being around them. Okay. The next card we have is Five of Wands. So you could have people trying to compete with you, trying to really just bring you down because of that energy that you hold. I feel like you threaten people who want to be the shiniest object in the room because you may be somebody who doesn't speak a lot, pile number 2, but your energy speaks for you. So that could threaten people who always want the attention or who always want to control the narratives that other people have of them. I feel like this was unfair because you didn't go up against anybody. You didn't gossip about anybody. You didn't backstab or betray anybody. All of this was because people didn't want to face their demons. And a lot of them will get in groups and they're all insecure, so they'll hate on you. But I feel like despite how many groups came up against you, they never defeated you. The irony is that they built up a whole army against one person and still didn't win. How do you have all these people and you still didn't win? But it's because the energy that you have within. Pile number 2. The next card that we have is the Devil card. So you definitely trigger people's demons. Like when people say your light triggers their demons, that is a true statement. That is not something people just say to say. It's a true statement. Your light does irritate people's demons. With this wand's energy, that's fire, that's light. You irritate people's demons because you have that pure energy to you. You show them the sides of themselves that they don't want to see and they feel some type of way. And any person that is truly spiritual is going to say, you know what, I need to recognize it in myself and work on that. It's a lot of people who pose as spiritual, but as soon as they see your light, they feel some type of way. So I feel like you could have also been around because I get that you're a spiritual person, pound number 2. And I feel like you have so much faith in God, which is why you were able to be brought through these trials and tribulations in your life. But I feel like these are people that you could have, because I'm picking up people that you could have been around that pretended to be spiritual. That's why I'm picking up. So some of this could have happened at a church. This could be some drama that happened at a church as well. So that's why I'm getting like people saying that they're spiritual but acting one way. It's like you're going to church and you're hearing touch not my anointed, but then you're afflicting somebody who is anointed. So that's the energy I'm picking up for you, pound number 2. Take what resonates. But you have triggered people, and I feel like those same people that you've triggered, they look back and they feel so embarrassed of their behaviors, pound number 2. So there are people who actually know that they wronged you, and I feel like they're too embarrassed and ashamed of themselves to actually apologize to you, pound number 2. Okay. So that's something that makes you unforgettable. Like people knowing that they were triggered by you and knowing that they felt some type of way, but not really understanding why they felt that way until later. Okay, because I feel like you this is in the channel messages. I'm gonna read them later because a lot of what I channel already pops up when I'm reading the cards. Because I have these channel messages in my notes in my phone. So we're gonna get to them later. But one thing that was there was 12th house placement. So you may have 12th house placements, pile number two. And I say that because a lot of the times people who have 12th house placements, it's like when people are in your life and they're not spiritually aware or they claim to be spiritually aware but not really aware. And they enter into your auric field, they can get confused because the 12th house is ruled by Neptune, Pisces energy. So people can get confused and end up thinking that their flaws are yours, but it's not. It's like you're a mirror reflecting back to them. It's like when you go to a circus, right? Or you go to the fair and there's an optical illusion and you think you see something, but it's not. I think that that's what people go through dealing with 12th house people. They think that they see something. And then when you leave their life, they see that it was all an illusion. They see that it was them the whole time, not you. So I feel like pile number two, that's what makes you unforgettable. People realize that they had an illusion around you. The next card that we have is Capricorn. So you work very hard. I feel like despite the naysayers and despite the people who doubted you or tried to project their insecurities onto you, you still excelled. And that's what's unforgettable about you. You accomplished so much and then some. Okay. The next card we have is Gemini. So not only are you somebody that's smart and that's unforgettable, but also you're somebody who has great conversation. I feel like people from first glance may see you and you are a beautiful person, pound number two. So people could just stereotype you as being like vain or stereotype you as that kind of person that's only worried about their looks when you're not. And when they have a conversation with you, they see that there's so much to you. Like with all this water energy, you're a very deep person. You have a lot of depth to you. I don't really feel like you like a lot of surface level conversation. So you may be quiet, but it's like when you actually talk to people and they get to know you, they see how beautiful your mind is and then they see how they misjudged you. And your mind, that's also something that's very beautiful and it's unforgettable about you. Pile number two. The next card that we have is Aquarius. So what's unforgettable is you're friendly. You know, despite people trying to bring you down, you were still kind to other people. Like you didn't allow how other people treated you to affect how you treated other people around you. Also, with that Aquarius energy, you know, you're somebody who's non-traditional, unconventional, and that's something that's unforgettable about you. Like you were in your own lane, and also I'm getting here that you know you're very original, and that's something that's unforgettable about you. So now we're gonna get into those channel messages, pound number two. So what makes you unforgettable is that you express your emotions in a very beautiful way. You do this through art, through poetry, writing, or even performance art. You could do music videos, you may sing, but there's some way that you express your emotions. You do it with words, but you also have some type of beautiful aesthetic to go with it. And I keep saying beautiful because that's your energy, pal number two. Beautiful. Okay. What also makes you unforgettable is your emotional intelligence, the depth that you have over emotions. You have a very dreamy energy. You also have a very beautiful physique and body. That's something that's unforgettable. You could have your own business here with a lot because you do have Capricorn energy. So you could have your own business, and that's something that's unforgettable. You could be a water sign. With exes remembering you, you were a great partner. Okay. You were a great girlfriend, a good boyfriend. If you're non binary, you were just a good partner overall. And that's something that's unforgettable because people don't always want to compromise or cooperate in a relationship, and it's like you were willing to do that, and it's not a lot of people like you. How number two, like when it comes to the dating pool, you know, it's not a lot of people who are willing to make things work, willing to communicate, willing to be accountable. A lot of people get into relationships strictly for selfish and egotistical reasons, but you really got into these relationships to love these people, connect and bond with them, and they're missing that. They miss those movie nights. You know, because I'm getting here, somebody could have like had a movie night, you popped popcorn, had hot chocolate, or you did something for your partner, ran them a bubble bath. It's like it was the little things, pound number two. It was the little things that are unforgettable because a lot of people don't have your heart, pound number two, and that is something that's unforgettable about you. Your heart, especially. Heart of gold, to be exact. The next channel message we have is that you have this goddess energy. Okay, you could be height maintenance. I believe we already talked about that, but you like to take your time with your routine. You like to take your time getting yourself dressed or bathing. You also could have been somebody who experienced bullying, but like I said, people who did this to you, they feel bad about it. And I channeled this and I thought about something that happened to me. Like when I was younger, I remember like an older woman, like she was this teacher. And she was telling me, she was like, some people that do that to you, people that mistreat you, they're going to look back and say, why did I do that to her? And that was the energy that I was picking up when I was channeling pound number two. So these people question themselves, like, why did I treat pound number two like that? So I said you had 12th house placements, but you could also have 8th house placements here or 6th house placements. Take what resonate. Also, you have the it factor. You have that it girl, it guy. If you're non-binary, you have that it energy, that it persona. You are remembered for setting goals and achieving them. You actually did the things you said you were going to do, pound number two. You also have an energy that's similar to Aaliyah. She is a Capricorn, so you may be a Capricorn, or that's heavy in your chart, pound number two. And it's like your vibe is similar to hers, or you may look like her, or your physique is something that's similar to you and Aaliyah. So take what resonates, okay? So those were your channel messages. Let me get to the final cards, pound number two. So the first card that we have is Lana Del Rey Art Deco. This is about you being an artist. So what's unforgettable about you is your art. And I feel like maybe your art makes a statement. Maybe your art could allude to like the Black Lives Matter movement or the Me Too movement or the feminist movement, etc. It's like it addresses something politically or it addresses something societally. Okay. The next card that we have is Want You Back. So yes, these exes definitely want you back because you in your bag. The next card we have is Capricorn. You're definitely in your bag. You're definitely in this boss type of energy, and that's what's unforgettable. It says, can't sleep, eat, breathe without you. Yeah. And it's interesting that I say you have an Aaliyah energy because these are actually lyrics from one of her songs. So that's interesting. I feel like these exes or this ex pal number two, they need you. They can't eat, sleep, or breathe without you. Like your presence is unforgettable. Your love is unforgettable, pal number two. The next card we have is a song by SZA. It's called Snooze. The next card we have is Sagittarius. So not only are you free spirited, and that's what makes you unforgettable, but it's the faith that you had. It's the faith that you had in yourself, but in God, because the people that did that to you, they look back and they're like, wow, this person had to have a strong relationship with God or with themselves because if that were me, if I were in pile number one shoes, I think I would be defeated. I think I would be hurt. It's like maybe you were hurt by the way they treated you, but it was like you didn't allow that to throw a wrench into your plans. Like you just use it as fuel. You use it as fuel to keep going. Like you let your haters be your motivators, pound number two. And that's something that's unforgettable. But yeah, pound number two, that was your reading. Thank you so much for coming. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Peace. Pile number three, last but not least, if you chose the pink tulips, this is your reading. So, pile number three, what makes you unforgettable? So, you are missed dearly by people you have departed from. People see now that you added so much value and meaning to their lives. You brought so much good luck. So, pile number three, what makes you unforgettable is you were this good luck charm. It's like when you were around, good things started to happen. So, let's get into these cards so we can see how you're unforgettable. The first card that we have for you, pile number three, is the Ten of Pentacles. With the Ten of Pentacles being here, you're somebody who's abundant. You have a lot. And it's interesting because in this card, it's like a lot of like food, like corn, bananas. Maybe you like to cook like healthy meals, vegan meals, and that's something that's unforgettable about you. You could have helped people transition into a new diet, into a new lifestyle, and that's something that's unforgettable. The next card that we have is the Eight of Pentacles. So you're very skilled in the things that you like to do, because after that we have the Seven of Cups. So it's like you have a lot of different skills and talents that you can monetize. You may already have some of these skills and talents monetized, and that's something that people find unforgettable because they may have seen you in the very beginning. That's why I was picking up like pile number 1. So pile number 3, you may resonate with pile number 1, okay? But you're very confident and skilled in your craft. So it's because you put your all into it. You're very passionate about the things that you like to do, and it shows, and it's unforgettable. It's like you have this lust for life, pile number 3. That's unforgettable. You have also the Lovers. So while you may resonate with pile number 1, you also may resonate a little bit with pile number 2. So this is for some of you, because some of you, you may not resonate with any of them except this pile, and that's fine. But for some of you, I'm definitely getting that because it says the Couple, which is also the Lovers card. So I have a different tarot deck than the Rider Waite tarot deck. And in this one, the Lovers is the Couple. So you have people remembering you, especially exes. Like when I was channeling this energy, it was like my eyes started to tear up. So it's like people may actually cry because you're no longer in their life. Count number 3. So what makes you unforgettable is like people have an emotional reaction to your absence. Okay. The next card that we have is the Six of Wands. So it's like you're a good luck charm. Like things just go right when you come around. Like people's life just gets in order because of your energy. Pile number 3. I almost said pile number 1. But it's like you bring good news. You bring just goodness. And that's something that people won't ever forget. You just brought them so much peace. They may have been experiencing chaos in their life or internally, and it's like you brought them so much peace. Pound number 3, and that's something that's unforgettable about you. That's what makes you unforgettable. The next card that we have is the Sun, and it's interesting because there's yellow here. And whenever I pick these colors or these photos, it's all intuitively guided. So I love when the cards reflect that. So with this Sun card, you have this yellow energy. Like what's unforgettable about you is your positivity and your optimism. You always help people to look on the bright side. And that's definitely with the pun intended because it's yellow and we have the Sun card. But it's like you help people to see the brighter things. Like you help people to look on the brighter side and not be so pessimistic about life. I feel like you really help people to understand like their thoughts create reality. So if you want positive results, maybe think positive thoughts. The next card that we have is the Ace of Swords. So pile number 1 also had the Ace of Swords, and you speak truth. What makes you unforgettable is that you speak the truth. I feel like you even tell people from the get-go, like, hey, if you mess this up, you're not gonna get me again. And I feel like people hear that and say, yeah, right. Everybody says that, like, but you really stand on what you say. And that's what makes you unforgettable, pile number 3. Like you really stand on what you say. When you tell people something and they don't take the hint, you do exactly what you said you were going to do. You let them know. And I feel like you're very honest too when you're getting into new connections. You know, you let people know like here I am. This is what I will tolerate. This is what I will not tolerate. And it can come off a little bit intimidating, pile number 3, because people just get into connections and they don't think about the compatibility. But I feel like you think about compatibility and you talk about that from the very beginning. And that's something that's unforgettable. I feel like people who are not in your life realize like, wow, pile number 3 was really just trying to connect with me. Like you may have had people who pushed you away or people who wanted to connect without really truly knowing you, and they tried to rush it and didn't get to see you for who you were. It's like this, pile number 3, your energy is like a beautiful song that people skip over, and then when they finally listen to it, they're like, "Wow." Or it could be a song that people listen to in the beginning and they wasn't feeling it, but when they listen to the end, they see like, "Wow, this is a good song," and then they can't stop listening to it. That's the energy you have. Like some people may sleep on you at first, but then when they really see you in your entirety, it's like, wow, I really let something like that pass me by. Like, yeah, that's what makes you unforgettable. Your energy, but also you having guidelines to how you want to be treated in relationships. That's what makes you unforgettable, because a lot of people don't really have the courage to admit what they want, what they don't want, because they're scared of running the other person off. But I don't really think you care too much about that. You care about having honest, organic, and authentic relationships in your life. And that's what makes you unforgettable. The next card that we have is the Four of Wands. So you always have something to celebrate, but you help other people reach their goals, which helps them to celebrate. Also, you always celebrate people on their day. Like when it's an event for somebody or it's a birthday party, it's like you show love for people and you make people feel special on a day they're getting an award or on their birthday. And that makes you unforgettable. Maybe people still have like birthday gifts you bought them or even the birthday card. Take what resonates here. The next card that we have is the Knight of Swords. So, similar to pile number one, you do give advice, and it may come off a little blunt, but it's because you're telling the truth. I feel like you don't allow people to bully other people as well. You may be the type of person, pile number three, that speaks up for people. You speak up for the underdog, or you speak up for the person that can't speak up for themselves, or you may speak up for a group of people. Okay, you defend people, and that's something that people miss about you. They miss that you were able to come to their rescue. Pound number three. The next card that we have is Mars. So similar to pile number one, you are a go-getter. That's why you are abundant, because you work for your abundance. You work for the things that it is that you want. The next card that we have is Saturn. So like I said, you have these guidelines as to how you want to be treated. So people can see you as strict, pile number three, and that's something that's unforgettable. But really, you just have standards, which a lot of people don't have. They will accept anybody, but you won't. Pile number three, and that's something that's unforgettable. You're also somebody who's mature, and that's something that's unforgettable. Like, I feel like you don't resort to petty behaviors. Like, if somebody is out of your life, you're not the type that'll tell their business or put them on blast. And it's something people appreciate about you, but it's also something that makes you unforgettable, because it shows that you honored the connection, regardless if it ended good or bad. The next card we have is Pluto. So I feel like people you've departed from, like, that's emphasized here, because it's like they wish that they could come back into your life. I feel like you help people to let go of a lot and shed a lot of old layers with this Pluto energy, and that's something that makes you unforgettable. You could have helped people quit a job. You could have helped people, leave a toxic relationship. You could have helped people like move into a new neighborhood. Like you gave people the hope and the courage and the wisdom that they needed to move forward, to let something go. And that's what's unforgettable, because people wouldn't have been able to do that if it weren't for you, pal number three. So that's what makes you unforgettable. You help people to let go of things that kept them bound and stagnant. The next card that we have is Taurus. So what makes you unforgettable is the way that you beautify things. Maybe you have a really beautiful home, like you decorate really nice, or you're a digital artist, or you make things, but there's something about you like creating and it being very beautiful, or making things that are very beautiful. Maybe you've made handmade gifts for people, because I was getting here that somebody could make pottery. Take what resonates, but it's like you're good at making things and beautifying things. And that's what's unforgettable. Next card that we have is Venus. So you are somebody who's beautiful, but also, you're somebody who is very loving. And that's what's unforgettable, because I feel like you may have given people love even when they didn't deserve it, even when they know that they did you wrong. And that's something that's unforgettable about you. So now, pile number three, I have these channel messages that I want to look at, and I'm going to read them. So, pile number three, what makes you unforgettable is how you share your abundance with others. Like, you may have more than people, but you don't rub it in their face. Like, you don't make people feel less than, you just share with them. The next channel message that we have is about you being a jack of all trades. So you could be somebody who is very multidimensional, and you've monetized the different talents that you have. You're also somebody who grows veggies and fruits. So maybe you farm, and that's something that's unforgettable about you. The way you celebrate others, that's what's unforgettable about you. You rejuvenate people. That's what's unforgettable about you. And I had something very specific. It said, people come into your life as dead plants, but end up blooming. because you cared for them. You bring people back to life. So that's why I was picking up pound number one. But take what resonates because you may not resonate with that fully. But what I'm getting from this quote that I wrote down, that I channeled, is that you really put life into people. Like you bring life. It's like you're literally the sun. You're literally the sun, pound number 3, and that's what's unforgettable. You're also a good gift giver, we've talked about that. You know, you give people really good gifts on their birthdays or holidays, and that's something that's unforgettable. Also, the way you cut off people and you remove them, I feel like you may do it in silence, and that's what's unforgettable because you don't make such a big deal. You don't go talk about them. You don't try to slander their character. You don't try to get people to be on your side. Like you're not doing that elementary, middle school bullshit. You just simply move on with your life and continue to spread love. Like you love people even from a distance. Like even people who you've cut off, you still send love to, pound number 3. And that is something that is unforgettable about you. Also, your style is unforgettable. So along with you beautifying things, you have a very beautiful style. You may be somebody who makes your own clothing or you thrift and you find stuff and put it together, and that's what's unforgettable about you. Also, people know that their karma is you not being in their life. So people know that their karma specifically is you not being in their life anymore, and it's really sad for them. Like I got that message specifically. That's what's unforgettable about you. Also, people may dream about you. People may have dreams about you from your past, and that's what's unforgettable. Okay. But let's get into the final cards, pound number 3. So you have Janae Aiko, My Afternoon Dream. So yeah, people dream about you. People may get so attached to those dreams because that's the only time they're going to see you. They get attached to those dreams because they know that it will never happen in reality. I feel like some people know they crossed the line, pound number 3. That's why they can only fantasize about you. The next card that we have is Willow Smith Time Machine. So people really wish they could go back in time. That's what's unforgettable about you. Also, you may be a person that likes vintage energy, or you may be a person that likes different eras like the 1920s or the 1950s, 60s, 70s, the 1980s, the 1990s. Like you really like those different eras. Maybe you have like clothing from those eras, or again, you thrift. So there's something here about you having this vintage type of energy. Maybe you are um you grew up around older people here, and that's something that's unforgettable. Maybe you were raised by grandparents, and that's what's unforgettable about you. But with this time machine energy, it's like you seem like you're not of this time, and that's what's unforgettable about you. Like maybe you love vintage things, and it seemed like you would fit back in that time instead of in our time period. But also, people wish that they could just have a second chance with you, pound number 3. That's what's unforgettable about you, that you're not really one to keep giving people chances. It's like once they burn a bridge with you, it's burned forever. There's no more rebuilding that. There's no more, it doesn't matter the tools that they get. They're never coming back, and they know that. Okay, so that's what's unforgettable about you. Like you teach people, you are the epitome of value what you have before it's gone. You never know what you have until it's gone. You're the epitome of that, pound number 3, and that is what is unforgettable about you. The last card that we have is Kaylani in My Feelings. So, and she's also a Taurus here. So we have Taurus energy twice, okay? That may be significant for you. But with this in my feelings card, it's like people still think about you. That's what's unforgettable. What's unforgettable is that they literally cannot forget you. Pound number 3, they can't. They think about you. They dreaming about you. They're fantasizing about you. You're on their minds. Pound number 3. So that is what is unforgettable about you. Thank you so much for coming to this reading. I do have more in store for you, all flower babies. Thank you so much for the support. And to all my new subscribers, thank you so much. If you don't know, I'm Blossom. I am your tarot reader. Thank you for coming to this channel and showing me love. Peace.